What a beautiful day it is here in Colorado. What is up, YouTube Adventure family? Today on the Colorado Adventure Channel, we're gonna get into some maintenance here. We're gonna open up the seat and get into the controller, the GhostCat F4X Pro. We're gonna take that thing out. We're gonna ship it off to the boys and girls at GhostCat headquarters in San Clemente, California. We're gonna have them reprogram it to give us a little bit more boost at the bottom end, a little bit more throttle control at the top end. Cannot wait to see what this bike is really capable of. So first off, we need to get into this bike, get the controller out, put it in a box, ship it out to the boys and girls at GhostCat headquarters. And for free, they're gonna reprogram the controller for you. If you want it expedited, you've got that option too. But just knowing, we could really see what this bike is capable of. Let's get the controller out of the GhostCat F4X Pro, send it off to GhostCat headquarters, and unleash beast mode. Let's go. Okay, so a lot of y'all know the controller in the GhostCats now are located underneath the seat. I think the first and second generations may have been near the crankset, but now they're underneath the seat. Now, like on my F3X Pro, the controller is located more in this back area. The F4X Pro controller is located more in this front end area. That's why you have to get a different seat from Tapia if you want a seat for the F4X Pro than the F3X Pro or F3.2 or F3.2X Pro. It's just that controller's in a different location, and that's going to change basically the shape of the seat. So let's see here. Looks like we've got a couple nuts here we got to take off, a couple here and a couple there. So it looks like 6 nuts because there's 6 bolts with that seat to take off. And then we're going to access that controller, and I want to show you how to not only take it out, but take it out safely. So pay attention here. This is very important when you're taking out these controllers or messing with any electric parts. And I'm gonna show you not only a good way to do it, but I'm gonna show you a super safe way to do it so you could ride another day. Let's go. Okay, the very, very first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take the battery off the GhostCat F4X Pro. It's probably pretty obvious since we're working with electrical stuffs. So unlock the battery, lift up, and take that out. Set the battery over here. All right, so you can see here, this is, in case you haven't ever seen the battery mount area, this is a battery mount. It's where the pins hook onto the battery. To connect it to everything, wire goes up through here, connects to the controller, and that controller decides how much of that power from that battery it's going to give to this motor. So when you program this controller, not only like in the P settings that you could do up here, but you could control this controller by programming it, I think, with a hardware or firmware direct upgrade. So I think that's what they're going to do if you send this controller off to GhostCat. So let's go ahead and take out those bolts underneath there, get that seat out, and see what we got. But before we even take this seat off right here, we're going to do something. I'm going to show you a little trick here. Now, I'm going to keep it on basically the display here. I'm going to turn it on real quick. Let's see if anything happens. See that? Now that battery isn't connected, but you saw the display turn on. Now the reason I did that is I drew the extra power that's actually stored in this controller right here out before we start messing with any of those electrical parts. Now the reason we wanted to do that is because we want to ride another day and we do not want to get shocked. And that stores enough electricity, honestly, to knock you out. So be very careful when you're working with any kind of electronics. And if you don't know what you're doing, get somebody that knows what they're doing. If you're too scared or don't want to mess with it, don't take a chance. But this is a safe way to do it when you're messing with electrical parts, especially on e-bikes or e-scooters or e-motos or anything. After you take that battery out, you want to turn it on and draw that extra power out of that controller. Just the safe way to do it because we want to ride another day. Now let's take off the seat and see what that controller looks like in the GhostCat F4X Pro. Let's go. All right, now we're underneath the seat here. use a 10 mil connected with like an extension here to my driver. So there's like 3 different things going on here. There's like a DeWalt or Ryobi and like some Craftsman piece and then some whatever. But anyway, you get the message. So we just take the 10 mil. You could also use like a 3/8. I think this is actually a 3/8. See here, under the seat here, there's a couple bolts, and these are a little trickier. So you'll have to use probably just an old school socket method to access these, because you just don't have like a lot of access right here to really get up in this little cracky corner here. So just be sure that when you get these, that you get the nut and the washer as well. And again, just be sure that you get your nut and your washer. Then after this, we should be able to wiggle the seat off and access the controller. And honestly, this is just good basic maintenance, because everything on e-bikes pretty much is plug and play. The motor's plug and play, the controller's plug and play, the battery's plug and play. Everything's plug and play on these e-bikes. So learning general maintenance like this, even changing your tires and your brake pads and stuff, is it's good to know, because honestly, a lot of people just don't like, messing and working with e-bikes. You might find a bike shop that occasionally does, but even those guys don't enjoy it. I've had local bike shops hand off customers to me that they could have serviced, and they're just like, I don't have time. I'm servicing all these mountain bikers out here in the mountains. And just be sure to get your nut and your washer. That should be it on all those. Good stuff. Real good stuff. All right, and you can see we got our mess of nuts and washers right there. And now we're going to attempt to take the seat off. I think it was just 6 bolts, so we should be good. Now, just from past experience and putting the Tapia seat on, these stock seats are sometimes on pretty tight. So I like to start at the back here and just give it a little pop and then lift the front. And then you could see all 6 of the bolts there. And the reason I lift from the back instead of the front, there's only 2 bolts in the back, so it's going to pop out easier. If I lifted from the front, it could pinch and cause a bind, and worst of all, it could strip the bolts on your seat. So that's why I lift from the back first and then the front. All right, that's what we're looking at, boys and girls. That's the controller in the F4X Pro. We can now safely disconnect, because we turned on our bike to draw that extra power that was stored in that controller earlier. So we're just double checking, make sure everything's safe. It's like that old saying with carpentry: measure twice, cut once. Anyways, let's take the controller out of the F4X Pro by GhostCat and send that off to the boys and girls at GhostCat headquarters in San Clemente so we could unleash beast mode. Let's go. I keep a lot of like snips around for obvious reasons. First off, let's be very careful. Don't cut any of the wires. Just be sure you're just cutting the zip tie. It's keeping most of these main cables together. As you can see, you got like, that's your tail light. This is actually your battery, your power cable, controller cable, back tail light, battery cable. So the first thing we're going to disconnect is our battery cable. So now we're safely disconnected. Now a lot of times, if you have that battery connected, I'm going to show you when we put this controller back in, you don't want to have the battery connected at all when you pop it in, because if you do, sparks may fly. So the last thing that we're going to connect when we get this controller back from GhostCat is the battery. So got the battery safely disconnected. Let's put these wires out of the way. Just kind of tuck them. You can leave the seat off, obviously, until you get the controller back. Do the tail light, nice and safe. And that was to the controller, nice and safe for the controller to the display. And we will have the motor one here that will be a little bit longer, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But let's go ahead and unsnip the controller, take the zip ties out. Just remove all the zip ties. See, there's 3 areas there for your zip ties, and you can see that we've got all the cables now disconnected except for the one that goes to the motor. So we're going to go ahead and actually tuck the controller wire through. I think this is the one for the headlight. We're going to unplug the headlight there. What else we got going on here? That's the power. We got the one to the power. And now the only one left is the cable going to the motor there, as you could see. So the only one left there is going to the motor. Alright, now if you're coming around back here to the motor, what connects the motor to the controller is right here. There's a little twist connection there. And there's a couple zip ties. There's a zip tie here. I think there's another one here. And it goes up to the cable management system. There's another zip tie, another zip tie. So what we'll do is we'll snap all those zip ties off, get some of this cable management wrap off, disconnect the controller from the motor, and package that thing up and send it out to San Clemente GhostCat headquarters so we could unleash beast mode. And now you're kind of like in my wheelhouse here, because this is the cable management system that they use, and I'm big on organizing and managing things. That's why I'm in property management, and my house is always ridiculously clean, and flowers are always watered. Just I'm a weirdo. But anyways, there's a couple of zip ties there. Looks like a couple of zip ties here. And just be careful not to cut the wire, so play it on the safe side if anything. And it looks like we got another one down here. All right, and I think that's all the zip ties connecting the motor. Wait, one more hiding back here. Let's get that one. All right, now we've got all the zip ties loose, and we get some of this cable management unwrapped here. I'll try not to make you suffer through that too much, so I'll probably just fast forward it here for you. Now, as you can see there, we've done as much as we need to, because we've gotten all of the cable management undone from the controller. Since we've got all the zip ties out and untwisted the cable management, we just got to untwist the connection there. So let's do that now. So just untwist it counterclockwise on both these little twisties here until they seat firmly against each piece. So you'll be counterclockwise, counterclockwise on both of them, and then they'll seat on these two plastic pieces here, and just pull it apart. There you go. Go ahead and pull our controller out a little bit here and kind of feed the power cable out, give it more room for activities. Get that out of the way. Tuck that over here. You see where I pulled that power cable through? We've got all this extra room, so when we pull this cable through here, that connection, that big twisty connection, could slide through here, and we don't have to take out the controller box or any of that stuff. So that'll make it a lot easier. And also when we install it, this will be the first cable that we run back through. So let's go ahead and do that. Here, then it should be a fairly tight fit, but boom, there we go, we got it out. So right here is the controller, the whole mess. I want to wrap that up really nicely, put it in a box and send it off to GhostCat. It's a really nice controller, by the way. Looks like it's really well made. It's super heavy duty. So let's go ahead and send that off. Now that we got it all packaged up, ready to send off to GhostCat here, got my address, all my information here. We got the address here. It's GhostCat Ebikes 921, Calle Amanecer, Unit A, San Clemente, California, 92673. Also put the order number down here as well, so they just have an easier time referencing it, making sure I get the right controller back so I could unleash beast mode. Let's send this controller off, get that new one back in a couple days, put it back in. I'll show you how to do that, and we could unleash beast mode. Let's go. Look what we just picked up from the post office, boys and girls. That's the controller upgraded to beast mode. So let's hook up the new controller to the GhostCat F4X Pro over here. Pop that puppy in and we'll unleash beast mode. Alright, so a few days later, after they received it, they sent it out. Got this thing back pretty quick. I think it was like a 5-day turnaround time, but I did expedite, upgraded the shipping, so it'd get here at least 2 days quicker than it would if I wouldn't have. So here it is, packaged nicely. Good, good, good. Here we go. Here we go, here we go. Alright, so all that packaging over here. And alright, there it is. There's the old controller back, reprogrammed to unleash beast mode. So let's hook this bad boy up and see what beast mode is all about. Okay, so check it out here. Alright, I advise, while you have this open up, just take like a damp paper towel and just kind of wipe everything out here. Clean it up. Just get any grime or dirt that's around. I'm a clean freak, so that's just a personal problem. But anyways, so what we'll do first here is we'll push the motor cable through that goes from the controller to the motor. We'll push that big cable through, and then we'll bring the other cables in to the controller, and then we'll zip tie this puppy down. I got some zip ties over there. We'll zip tie this puppy down, connect everything, put the seat back on. That should be about it. Let's go. While I feed the biggest part first, you're going to have to kind of force that, just so you know. We can flip that around, set the controller in there. Alright, now I'm going to bring in some of those other cables in here. Alright, so here's the motor cable coming from the controller. Remember, we tucked it through that hole. It's coming out the other side, going down through here, but I'm just going to kind of just run it to where it goes. Not now to get it out of the way, but to also know where it goes. So we'll put it there till we zip tie it and then connect it to the other end right here. Alright, so now we're going to bring the cables in through this side. Looks like we got the headlight, the tail light, the display, and the battery. Go ahead and connect all of those real quick. So let's go ahead and bring in the biggest one first. That'll be the battery. Alright, as you can see here, here's the battery cable. And we're just going to go ahead and push it through here. Here's the battery cable. Go ahead and pull some of that slack out there. Alright, so we'll just set that over to the side for right now. We don't need to connect anything. Alright, let's go ahead and connect the tail light. And you can see on these connectors, there's a little notch matches up to another notch, but they also got little arrows as well. So if you can't match up the notches, hopefully you can match up the arrows. Just be really easy with them. Don't force anything. We'll put that off to the side. Alright, now I think this is the headlight here. We got a couple more cables we're going to bring up through the bottom here. It's to your display and that's to your headlight. Let's go ahead and bring the display first since it's bigger. Always bigger first, and then we'll bring in the headlights. There's the headlights. We got all the wires right through. We'll go ahead and connect the headlight. And remember, there's little notches in there, and then those little arrows on top, same as the tail light. Let's line those up. And just don't force it. Just be sure that you take your time and don't force it. See, look there. Those pins are pretty fragile, so I don't want to force it. Okay, next up is going to be our display. This is going to go to our central command unit, so our command headquarters. So we're going to go ahead and connect that. And again, it's got the arrows on top as well here. So let's line this up and don't force it. Just kind of push it in there. We'll get that out of the way. Now we're going to take some zip ties, and we're just going to zip tie this down and do some cable management here. And then we'll do some more cable management. But first, we'll do the grand finale and go ahead and hook up our last one. That's the power cable. Boom. There we go. All secure, all mounted in. Get some zip ties, secure everything down. We'll do some cable management, hook up the motor, hook up the battery, see how everything works. It's starting to rain here. I got a couple zip ties for the upper area here. I'm going to do a couple on the controller and kind of wrap these down, do some good cable management there. So first off, I'll take the controller out for a second to show you there's some holes down in there. You see, there's 6 of them. I'm just going to take a couple zip ties, maybe one right here, one right here. Just hold down that controller real good. So go ahead and run the zip tie through here, and I'll come back around the bottom here. There's zip tie number 1. And then the zip tie number 2, we'll run it through here and back through this side. So now we have those zip ties. We'll lay the controller back down, do zip tie number 1 here. Get nice and secure. This keeps it secure, keeps it from rattling. Now we could easily secure zip tie number 2. So now nice and secure, very good. Keep the bolt down. Now I'll just kind of neatly tuck and fold some of these other cables here and get a nice little secure zip tie here as well. Tuck everything in. We got our tail out there. We got our power cable. Got our power cable here. And run the zip ties through all these small little areas. There, looks good to me. Just keep everything nice and tucked. All right, so now we got some cable management there as well. Let's snip that. Bada boom. Bada bing. All right, now that we got that on, we'll do some cable management down here. And after we do that and hook the motor back up, we'll put the seat back on and the battery back on and see what we got. It's actually started to rain here, so, which is great. We need it. We haven't had rain in a while, but it's a great opportunity, really, to work on this bike. And we've got that controller put in, got it zip tied down, got some cable management done, zip tied some of these cables together. Now we're going to come down here, do some more cable management. For some advice here. First thing you want to do, though, is connect that controller to that motor. Just making sure you have plenty of slack, and it's an easy, secure connection when you do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to grab that long wire coming from that controller, go into the motor, and connect those first. Then we'll run some zip ties, secure these. We'll come back up here do some really nice, good looking cable management, just giving us plenty of slack and just plenty of room to work with, making the experience a lot easier, a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. Wait, that's getting weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and connect the controller to the motor, do some cable management, put that seat on, and hook this thing up. Let's go. Got me some fresh coffee, but look what the guys and girls at Yeti did for me at the GoPro games earlier this summer. Put my logo, Colorado Adventure Channel, on my Yeti coffee cup. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. You can see there on these connectors, there's 3 pins and there's a groove there. There's 1 big pin up top and 2 smaller ones at the bottom. And it's the male part on the other side here. So let's go ahead and try to get those lined up. And then we'll go clockwise this time. After we've got them nice and secure and pushed in, we'll go clockwise until it's a really, really snug fit. Just as tight as you can get it, you know, with your fingers. You don't need to target the wrench or anything. All right, so we got the motor connected to the controller. Now we're going to get some zip ties and just kind of put it in these little grooves. A groove here, there's a groove there, and then there's a groove there, so we'll need 3. We'll work ourselves up from the motor, going towards the controller, just to give it a nice clean look, and we won't have too much slack down here, because the last thing we want really is any slack down here where there's moving parts. That's the last thing we want to do. So we'll snip that. There's a little groove here. I want to try to, and see the little groove here, there's another little zip tie area. There's another zip tie running through it, but when I disconnected it, it had one running through. It's kind of bringing that cable up a little bit tighter, so we got it. All right, we'll pull that nice and tight there. Bringing that cable up. Looking good, looking real good. All right, we'll snip that zip tie. Boom, bada boom. Okay, so we got another little hole right here. This hole right here, when we put the zip tie through, will actually hold the rear brake, hydraulic cable, and the controller to the motor. So that's an important one. All right, we'll snip that one next, and just kind of tuck and roll that around. All right, so we're good. Now, everything connected down here, the motor to the controller. We've got zip ties, cable management looking really good. And now we're going to do some more cable management, just going up to the control box, just to make this look really good and flush and make it look neat. Then we get to go and play. Let's go. We'll bring our cable management wrap around here, and we'll just kind of meet it as low as we can to the bottom here and start wrapping. So I'll speed up this part like I did when I unwrapped it. All right, let's go. All right, good, looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie this in a couple areas here just to kind of tuck it and get it out of the way. Like right here, looks like a good place. Snip that through. Go ahead and tuck that around. I might put one here too as well. Never enough zip ties is what I always say. There. Go ahead and tuck that back around there too. Looking good, looking great. Let's go ahead, put on the seat on the GhostCat F4X Pro so we could unleash beast mode. Let's go. So remember, there's some slots here. There's two, and there's two more. So we're going to knock those bolts in the bottom of the seat. As you remember, right here, there's 2 in the front, 2 more in the front, and those in the back. There we go. All right, cool. All right, let's put on the bolts. Got 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. That should make it easy. And remember, it's washer first, and then your locking nut will go on your belt. So we'll go ahead and find our first one here. Let's go ahead and finger tight all of them first, and then we'll go back and tighten everything up all the way. I'll go over here and start on this one. And I didn't torque that one down yet. I just want to get this back lined up first. Make sure I got the seat lined up so it's not all cockeyed. These are some long bolts, so it takes a minute. And you don't want to like totally crank these things down. You want to get it snug, but you don't want to force it either. You don't want to strip anything or smash anything. That looks good. And you'll notice on this back seat right here, you will have like a little bit of a gap. That's there on purpose. So you can see, as you come down through here, just kind of how it lines up. So don't freak out if you see like that little gap. It's supposed to be there. It's aerodynamics. Actually, it's just the design. I'm just being silly. All right, so we'll come in here and the same thing. So I'll go ahead and speed this up and just show you what I'm doing. Next up, with the battery back on, this big old honking battery. All right, get it lined up with the pins there, locked in. Lock it in, boom, done. Make sure it's on, cool. There it is, the controller. The bike don't look any different, does it? Let's see if this thing turns on. Let's go ahead and turn that thing on. Well, it turns on, that is good. That is a good sign. Looks like all the volts are there. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Oh, it came on, that's good news. That's real good news. I'm curious though. I'll go into the P settings real quick. Okay, we're still good on the P settings where we had it, so that's good. 60 in the power amp, so that's still the same. So, it looks like we're good there. Alright. Pretty freaking cool, huh? Well, I think it's time that we at least try it out for a second, right kids? At least for a little ride. See what it's all about. Let me grab my helmet. Let's go unleash the beast, the GhostCat F4X Pro. Let's go. All right, let's turn it on. There it is. All right, here we go. I think this is pretty much the first recording of beast mode on the F4X Pro by GhostCat. This isn't the review. We got that coming up, but I couldn't help but just take you all on a little ride, and I was very curious too. Let's see what this thing can do. Let's go. Let's put it in mode 5. Whoa, okay. Well, there's that. Okay, so be very careful putting this thing in mode 5. You might want to start off in mode 3 or mode 4 and not mode 5, because it could get away from you. Like right there, I'm just totally popping a wheelie every time I do that. So just know that. So initial reaction to this is, holy cow, man, what have I got myself into? A little excitement, a little nervousness, kind of mixed, you know? You know, is it something that's too much? Or is it something that's just right? The good news is with the power mode, you could actually dial it down to like mode 3 or mode 2 even if you wanted to, if that was too much. So I'm very curious. On the review on this thing, I'll go through the modes and from the starts and the get-goes and everything on this bike now that we know what it's all about. It's going to be a very torquey ride. Very curious to see what the throttle response is like, and I'm very curious to see what going up a hill is like. And I know you all are dying to see what the top speed is like, so we'll get that wrapped up in the review, all of it, but I'm dying to go down here just to see what it has initially on a short run, and then what it has initially on going up a hill. So let's take it on down here and see what she has. All right, it's like, well, it is so torquey just off mode 5. Let's see what we can get on top speed on this short run. I've got it punched. It got there quick. Got to 35 miles an hour, like so quick. All right, 38. And this is a short run. We're not going to be able to get, you know, full. Looks like we got 40 on that short run. That wasn't a very long run, but we got up there. We got to like 30 real quick. Approaching 35, just super punchy. What a fun little bike, man. It is just super punchy right now. Like, it feels, I mean, it's got like that torque that you're just, let's try this real quick. Let's give us an idea of going uphill. Well, there's that. So that's a really steep, bumpy, rough hill that has given a lot of e-bikes a lot of hell on reviews. And you gotta basically just be careful you don't jump coming off those hill climbs. That's crazy. All right, there it is. That's the GhostCat F4X Pro. We've unleashed the beast. Full review coming soon, but I just wanted to do an extraction and an install of the controller and how to send it off to GhostCat headquarters so they could program it to unleash the beast. Hope this video helped. If it did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment too. I'd love to hear what you think about unleashing the beast in the F4X Pro. That review is going to be coming sooner than later, I promise you, because that's a lot of fun and I cannot wait to see what it's got. If you like this bike or any of the other GhostCat e-bikes, use my discount code Colorado. I'll leave a link below to GhostCat bikes as well as my discount code for $50. Go buy yourself a helmet. You can expedite your controller. Whatever you want to do. It'll save you a little bit of money to help me, help the channel, but most of all to help you. It's a great bike. Really enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped. I really do. I really love doing unboxing and maintenance and mechanical things. It's my wheelhouse. I get excited and I love it. And sometimes listen to some good music too. Doesn't hurt. It's GhostCat F4X Pro. We've unleashed the beast. The review coming soon. Stay tuned, boys and girls. Cannot wait to take you on the next adventure. This is Chris from Colorado Adventure Channel. Till our next adventure. Good day, everybody. Peace.